right, welcome back to Money Love. Remember, last week we talked about how you can manage your expenses better to find savings and start investing. This week we're going to talk to first time investors. So, people especially who are young and those of you who have just started working. We'll talk about how it's important for you to start investing also right now. Even 500 rupees a month is enough to invest. Now, before we go further, I must remind you that this is a partnership. I've partnered with Frio, which is a brand new digital banking experience. And the idea behind Frio is to give you access to everything money so that you can manage your money better and you can have better control over your money. Right, so let's get to work right now. In our previous episode, we also talked about a checklist that you need to have before you start investing. Now, when we talk about someone who's just started working, you're obviously really young. And the advantage that you have when you're really young is time, right? Because your money will compound. So even if you put a really, like the minimum amount to invest every month is 500 rupees, right? So if you put 500 rupees aside now when you're young, and young really means you start right now at whatever age you are, you start right now, it will compound over a period of time. Now, I hope many of you understand the difference between simple interest and compound interest because they taught us this in the sixth standard. But if you don't remember what that difference is, remember when your money compounds, let's say you put 100 rupees in and you've got an interest rate of 6% on it. So in the first year, you're 100 rupees and 6%. In the second year, it's 106 rupees and you get 6% on that, and that compounds over and over again. And that money moves much faster than simple interest. And so if you invest early, you have the advantage of that compound interest really doing magic over a period of time. And I'll give you an example. We'll do simple math. Okay, don't worry. Now, let's assume we're talking about an investment of 7%, which is really the bare minimum, and you're going to put aside 10,000 rupees every month, right? If you start when you're young and you have 30 years to go before you retire, and you're putting 10,000 rupees every month in an investment that's giving you 7%, at the end of 30 years, you will have 1.2 crore rupees, right? Now, let's take everything, keep everything the same about this investment. You're still getting 7%, you're still putting 10,000 rupees a month, and the only thing that changes really that instead of 30 years, you only got 10 years because you've started later. You will have 17 lakh rupees. That is a massive, massive difference in investment and massive difference in the return, really. And that's what I'm talking about. And that's the power of compounding. That if you start earlier and you just keep investing small amounts of money over a period of time and not touch it and not take it out, it will really make a difference as you get older. And you will not be sorry. I can promise you that. Now, I started actually investing when I was about 24, and I put small amounts of money aside in SIPs. And as I got older and I had to handle some of the bigger things that came across in my life, like buying a house, for example, this was the money that really came in handy. So I'm speaking from experience when I'm saying that this is important stuff and it's not so complicated. We have an industry that uses complicated words and they try and make it seem confusing, but it's not. It's simple compound interest that gives you a return that compounds over a period of time. And we'll go through the different kinds of investments one by one. But first, let's talk about what you need to do if you are going to start investing. The first thing you need to have, I'm assuming you already have a PAN card because you're getting paid and you have a bank account. So you've done your KYC. But before you start investing in either mutual funds or anything else, you'll have to have your KYC ready. And that's fairly simple. There's a list on your screen. Make sure you have all of these things. Aadhaar cards are now almost compulsory for everything, and you should have that as well. The thing that I would actually stress upon, especially if you're starting young, is to make sure that you're putting money aside that you're not going to need or you're not going to want for at least the next 5 years. I mean, I would say 10 years, 20 years, but at least 5 years. So what I mean by this is, let's assume you start putting an investment, right? You're putting an SIP or you're putting in some money. And then suddenly you decide that I want to buy a new phone or I want to take a holiday. You shouldn't break that investment and take your money out because the compounding we talked about earlier, where you could make 1.2 crore rupees, won't happen if you keep pulling the money out of it. So what you need to do is only put aside money that you're not going to need right now. So you can do, first of all, the first three things that we talked about in the previous episode, which is Put aside money for health emergencies, put aside money for random emergencies, and buy life insurance as well. So you're not taking out your money in case of any of these things. Then the second thing you do is divide your savings, whatever is left, into two brackets. One bracket is the money that you're going to use at the end of this year to buy a new phone, or you're going to use for a holiday, or you're going to use to basically upgrade some part of your life. The other is the money that you're not going to touch for the next 10 years. So, the money that you're going to need at the end of the year, the best thing to do really is a recurring deposit, which you can do with your net banking, where you just say, okay, take this much money out of my account. Preferably do it in the beginning of the month, not at the end of the month. So, take this much money out of my account at the beginning of the month, and it sort of just accumulates. And the good thing about that is that the recurring deposit has no risk. It gives you a very straightforward return. And so it's a very safe place to keep the money that you need at the end of the year or the end of next year maybe. The money that you're actually going to want in the next 10 years or the next 15 years should find its way into equity. This is why I'm saying it should be in equity, right? Because if you'll notice right now, interest rates have come down. Not too much return is coming from anywhere else except the stock market. And the stock market, over a period of time, it does have ups and downs, and people tend to lose money in the short term. But over a longer period of time, over 10 years or 15 years, the stock market always goes up, and it always beats inflation. So the best place to put long-term money is the stock market. But here's the challenge, right? You and I have jobs, we have work to do during the day. We can't be one of those people that sits in front of a computer and tracks the market constantly. So if you want to still invest in the moving market and you don't know how to do it, the best way to do it is through an equity mutual fund. And we're going to do an entire episode on how to understand equity mutual funds and how to choose those funds. But this is sort of the mental place that I want you to be in right now. But if you are just started investing, you must get used to putting aside a small amount of money every month, at least 10% of everything you're making. Put it aside, get used to not using it, get used to saving that money to begin with, and then we'll take the next step to investing that money. Now, the other thing I want you to remember when you're a young person who's starting off is to remember to borrow responsibly. Now, this happens a lot. You get your salary account, your first salary hits your account, and you get offered credit cards. A lot of people take those credit cards, you miss a few payments, a delinquency builds in, and it affects your credit score. So later in the day, when you're taking a more serious loan, you're taking a home loan, you're taking a car loan, that bad credit score will bother you. It will affect the interest rate you get or whether or not you get cleared for a loan at all. So it's really important that whatever loans you are using at this point, that you make sure you pay them on time. And how do you do that? Well, you go back to what we talked about in the previous episode in the 50, 30, 20 bracket, right? 50 is the money you will spend on what you need. 30% is what you will spend on what you want. And in the 20% that's remaining will be your savings and the loans that you're paying back. So if you follow this rule, you'll make sure that you only borrow to an extent that you're able to pay back, and you always make your payments on time. And remember, if your payments are on time, then they will have no room to charge you fees and extra charges and things like that. And you actually save a ton of money on it. So be a responsible borrower and start saving and investing as quickly as you can. All right, so that brings us to the end of this week. Come back next week. We'll talk about investments, the different kinds of investments, and how to choose among them. Before I let you go, remember this show is brought to you in partnership with Frio, which is a new digital banking experience that wants to make money accessible to you with cool financial products and services. I'll catch you soon. Remember, love your money. It will love you back.